AITA for being honest about how I was bullied and how the teachers at my school did nothing about it while being interviewed by a current student. I'm an author of mild success. I'm not incredibly popular, but my books sell enough. About 3 months ago, someone from my old high school reached out to see if a student could interview me. I responded that my time at the school wasn't the happiest, but I would give the student responses relating to my career. We had a great chat. She started asking questions about my time at the school, but I redirected. She caught on to what I was doing and asked, "I'm sensing that you're hesitant to talk about your time at school. Is that true?" I said, "Let's focus on the story," and she was like, "Actually, this could be a better story." So I said, "You know what, sure. Whatever. I don't owe the school anything, I'm not being paid, and even though it's been a long time and I've grown from what happened, it's still worth talking about." I mentioned a few names in specific, and how I tried to ask for help and was blown off by everyone. Teachers at my school very strongly favor the girls in sports teams, and would often be buddy-buddy with them and their parents. I mentioned a teacher who openly mocked the way I dressed, my lack of athleticism, etc. I brought up the time that a group of girls followed me around the school mooing at me, and when I broke down crying because they wouldn't stop and tried to tell a teacher, the teacher called me Mooly for the rest of the year, and when I yelled my name, Molly, she had me suspended for a week. She ended up publishing the whole interview. Nothing exactly went viral, but there were posts on FB with a ton of comments, and it caused some commotion in that community. A few weeks later, I was contacted by a school official who chastised me for bringing up old wounds and trying to paint veteran teachers as bad people when they were going through difficult times already. The teacher responsible for the Mooly incident had a local lifetime teaching award taken away from her after it all came out, so was it really worth it, and maybe did I remember things wrong? Finally, a handful of my old classmates, many of them stuck around town, found me, and I was barraged with a ton of messages telling me that I'm ruining the reputation of the school and of several prominent community members. It was X years ago, so why can't I just get over it, etc. Some of them obviously haven't changed. It was a long time ago, yes. I don't know how I really feel about how this all went down though. I know times are tough for teachers right now. I didn't set out to hurt anyone, I was just telling my truth. AITA? NTA. Trying to paint veteran teachers as bad people. You weren't trying to do anything, they were bad people. I'm ruining the reputation of the school and of several prominent community members. Those community members did a good job of ruining their own reputations. It's not your fault they're finally being held accountable. Yeah, I'd say that the teacher who called out Mooly and deserved to lose that award is now probably having a cow. I'll see myself out. Does anyone else see the similarly here between the grief she's getting for finally telling her story and how some people react to adults finally telling their stories about being sexually abused by adults in the community when they were children? If I wanted to be petty, I'd tell them to screenshot and post with the caption, "Guess some people don't change" or something. Dude. I have dreams about getting mildly famous and doing an interview revealing all the ways my school was a cesspit of shit. You just lived my dream up. NTA. Honestly, the woman does not deserve an award if she bullies students. And the school should have reached out to you, apologized, and asked what they can do better. Their whole attitude shows they are still a terrible school. Same hahaha. I'm still scarred from my school. You told the truth. People got things taken away from them and got a bad reputation for their actions. You didn't make them act that way. You are so NTA. The school is upset because the truth makes them look bad? Think about that. The truth makes the school look bad. Funny how the burden is supposed to be on you, the former student, to protect all these upstanding, experienced pillars of the community, and not on them to explain themselves. Which clearly they can't, or the one who made fun of your name wouldn't have had her award yanked purely on your say-so. They could have used this situation to apologize, but they all choose to be a-holes all over again. Op is NTA. If the school's response to this is to attempt to guilt and gaslight you into backing off, instead of at least apologizing for what happened to you, then they absolutely deserve to have their reputation ruined. And if that teacher lost a lifetime teaching award over it, I'm wondering if your story caused other students to come forward with stories of being bullied by her. I'm honestly just worried about the poor student who did the interview. If I were Ob, I'd reach out and let the kid know that if they need anything, if they're getting backlash from the school or anything, to let me know. A quote I found a few years ago: you own everything that happened to you. Tell your stories. If people wanted you to write warmly about them, they should have behaved better. You told the truth, and unfortunately I'm guessing that these teachers and students who made your life hell never learned that actions have consequences. Well, now they know. It's like they never expected their past to haunt them. Maybe they should have been good people if they didn't want people knowing about the skeletons in the closet. Bad people shouldn't expect to always get away with everything. Do you have a link to this interview? I vote we make it go viral. ONTA. But let's be real, you knew that already. You were not out of line at all. As satisfying as that would be, there's a young girl's name attached to that, and I unfortunately know how vicious Redditors can be towards young women. Maybe you remember it wrong is a term often used towards victims when they in fact do not remember it wrong. The teachers were a piece of sh and finally got their BS called out. Or poor teachers, they finally got their bullying called out. Oh, we cry me a river and build a bridge. Get over it. You can still tell the story and still be over it. The interviewer asked you about school. Were you supposed to lie and paint the school as a beautiful place when it, in reality, condones bullying from both students and faculty? NTA, it's about time they got their sh called out. Apparently no one has changed and continue the behavior X amount of years later. It doesn't matter that this was a long time ago, you told the truth about them and the teacher absolutely did not deserve an award. Glad the truth came out and they were finally seeing consequences for their shitty behavior. Caring about a school's reputation more than you care about the students in it leads to a cover-up of abuses. It's the reason that just about every private preparatory academy has major sex abuse scandals in their past. It's the same mentality that caused the Boy Scouts and the Catholic Church to cover up their scandals. As bad as you had it, I wouldn't doubt for a second some poor soul at your school had even worse circumstances and was pressured to keep quiet with these exact same tactics. I'm a teacher and a qualified school counselor. Usually with issues regarding bullies, I'm firmly on the side of students and parents don't actually see all the things teachers do to try and stop bullying, because we can't discuss other students. Like, we can have phone calls, messages, meetings, all sorts of things with a bully and their family and still see no change, and the teacher isn't able to decide to ban a student from their room. And we can't tell the bullied family what we have tried because we can't discuss other individuals. But that is not what happened in your story. A teacher called you mooly? Like, that's fucked up. I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. Personal peeve of mine is sports favoritism. It's rampant in school cultures and I hate it so much. I don't go out of my way for sports, although if a student tells me about something they did I'm always individually supportive of them, but I make a much bigger deal in my classroom of things like science fairs because they don't get the same kind of celebration. I'm glad she didn't get that award. That was disgusting behavior from a teacher and there is zero way for that to be twisted into being some kind of an in-joke. No one shy of someone who Lou Obvious Cows would ever like to have a nickname like that. Like no. The teacher encouraged some absolutely toxic bullshit. I'm sure there are a lot of students who heard about this and gone, I'm not alone. You told the truth. If the teachers don't like looking like assholes, they shouldn't have acted like assholes. I come from a family of teachers that know the difference between right and wrong, and strive to teach those basics to children that have been entrusted in their care. You told the truth, which is always something taught as a good thing, and what comes from the truth are consequences for one's own actions. You had no choice as a child on this situation, and yet they think you should get over it so they can get away with what they know was wrong. Part of getting over trauma is talking about it, so you keep telling everyone your truth and getting over it however you like. Doesn't matter how long ago it was, you told the truth. It's crazy to me that administrators seem more concerned with you bringing up old wounds than addressing the issues with their faculty, especially since one of the teachers has, now had, a Lifetime Achievement Award. Your story made me do a double take. My name is Molly, and I was mercilessly bullied in high school. I'm in my 30s now and it definitely still affects me. I also just had my first book come out. Look, you didn't go into the interview planning on talking about this. The student pushed you for that story, and you told the truth. Telling the truth to someone who asks for it never makes you an asshole. You have no obligation to hide what happened to you, and it is worth talking about. Clearly, the school hasn't changed since they decided to continue bullying you over this. Maybe your story can be the kick in the ass the school needs to actually get a little better. You answered questions honestly. Block anyone harassing you. You didn't lie. They were trying to use you to promote the school, and they really should have known considering you told them that the time at the school wasn't the best.